ISIS has reportedly been throwing men off of buildings for, quote, being gay. The Islamic State has published disturbing pictures of what they say are the executions of two gay men in Iraq being thrown off of high rise buildings to their deaths off of the roof of the building. The organization has also released images of two men being crucified for theft and a woman being stoned to death for infidelity. The two men are seen in the pictures being led to the edge of a tall building as a large crowd gathers below to watch. The men are then photographed falling through the air, and a later photograph shows their bodies on the ground dead. Two other ISIS militants then shoot the two in the head, killing them. A final killing depicts a woman draped in an all-black niqab as she is led to her stoning on charges of infidelity. And ISIS members are seen her throwing rocks at her and waving ISIS flags. I actually can't understand why some of the guys throwing the stones cover their faces. Do they think that God doesn't know who they are if they simply cover their faces when they participate in the killings? And if they believe that these killings are proper and godlike and what God would want, why do they even need to cover their faces?
It's a good question. I'm not really sure. It's just something ISIS fighters do. I'm sure they have a reason for it. Maybe it's some righteous reason that they, I don't know, that they dreamed up. But I read another story that a bunch of ISIS folk executed some people who were watching a soccer game for watching a soccer game. I mean, it's really getting ridiculous.
They are believed to have executed thousands of people since they violently took over parts of Syria and Iraq last year. They have held multiple foreign hostages, as we've talked about, including a number of Western journalists and aid workers, and have beheaded around 5 of them. And let's just remind everybody, ISIS is not the only one doing the beheading. We also see Saudi Arabia, a close ally of the U.S., doing beheading. So there is certainly no shortage of this. And let's remember that there are varying opinions as to how ISIS should be dealt with. And one of the primary questions is when you're trying to fight an ideology, how do you actually do it? And I think the proof is in that, Lewis, which is, yes, we have ISIS doing these acts, but we also have Saudi Arabia, a government considered legitimate by the United States and a friend to the U.S. doing the same. So would killing whoever we can identify as being part of ISIS do anything to eliminate the ideology that is the catalyst and undertone for all of this type of violence? I don't know that it would.
You might not. The ideology would probably remain, but perhaps if you kill enough members of ISIS, those who support the ideology might decide just to stay at home and not pick up that AK and go out and try to kill people.